was like, I gotta go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Everyone is present or accounted for. To the agenda. Is everybody still happy with the agenda we set up at work session? Any changes, additions to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion and second, Casey and Marcia. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, local legislator recognition. We asked you guys to come tonight because you were such champions down in Cheyenne. You fought so hard and worked so hard for us, for the whole county, and we just wanted to say thank you. I know you get beat up a lot for that, but we're really glad you did this.
So Barry and Marilyn, would you like to take the positive seat rather than the hot seat, or just recognize
Whatever you
where
say,
you're
Charles.
So I think let's take a minute just to bring them in front of everybody. So Travis, you are correct. This is our one opportunity to thank the two people that we are in strong communication with and have something that I think, Barry, you said multiple times, we're unique, and the fact is we have a good relationship in that communication. Not a lot of people out in the public know the work that goes in behind the scenes and the volunteer work, but I think this is our opportunity. I know this is our opportunity to thank you for the work that you do, not only for this community, but for this school district. Even though there were 3 strikes, we swung 3 times and we landed up short. I think you laid a really good playing field to start out legislation next year with some of the things that we are doing. So on my behalf as a superintendent, as a member of this community for a long time, and 13 years in a position of understanding state leadership, we are truly blessed to have you guys doing the work that needs to be done. Even though we fell short, or there's a lot of people that might disagree, they don't understand the commitment, and I do. So I want to thank you for that commitment here tonight.
Mr. Chair, I also would like to just personally thank you both. Attending the time that we attended and all the time that you guys put in, you truly listened to what we had to say and took everything that we had that would work for our district. You listened and you fought for that, and I truly believe that Johnson County is still standing strong. We have 2 leaders at the helm down at the state that really trust and listen to this school board, and I appreciate that. And just know that in the interim, there's several of us that are going to continue to do the work and fight the good fight and do what's best for this district and the staff and these students and this community. And so I look forward to working with you again through this process, and we'll keep you updated. I personally have signed up already for an interim panel just to kind of see what's going on and listen to the things and start navigating what the rest is going to look like. And we'll just keep telling our story. We're the only one that knows the way that it goes. And so thank you. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to come and be with us. I appreciate you very much, both of you.
So just real quick, with the commitment here tonight, and I'm going to use Barry as a great example. He stuck around to come to this very short recognition tonight and then has to drive all the way to Cheyenne for several days worth of meetings. So that's a commitment. That really is. So thank you to both of you. Marilyn, I know you do. It's not a short drive from here to Cheyenne at all. And so grateful for all your support, and more importantly, the work you're doing, not just for the school district, but for this community. So thanks.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to reiterate what you were talking about. We have opportunity to meet with a bunch of other board members school board members from across the state, and they all echo that this is very unique. They don't have the relationship with their representatives that we do, and not for lack of trying. They've invited and their representatives don't show up. So we appreciate you guys coming when you're invited.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, so this is a two-way street. Communication is a two-way street. You all do a really good job of communicating with us too. So we don't know what to do if you don't tell us. And so we also, I'll speak for Marilyn right now, but we appreciate all that you do as well. I mean, you guys work hard, you dig into it, you spent your summer going to the interim meetings, making our case, which is why I think we'll have a much better shot next go round, getting some of the stuff we need done, some of the fix-ups done, because you took the time. And so I'm gonna ask you to keep going, keep telling them our story, like you said, Lynette, and we'll fight for you come session time next year. And I'm already working on it. I'm talking to a lot of my colleagues. I know Marilyn is too, about, the holes that we have found, the things that are popping up. It's not just our school, it's a lot of the others as well. And so there's going to be an opportunity to do some of that. And when that opportunity arises, we're going to try to be there to, in particular, address the things that affect Johnson County. Thank you for all you do as well.
Awesome.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to have a turn.
Go.
This was my first session. So when we got down there and we were working on this recalibration, I was a little nervous about being able to support this district and the Claremont district as well. I couldn't have done it without, there was several early morning texts. Oh, this happened, how do you want me to proceed? I always had a response. And I will say that in testimony and working with the Speaker of the House and other people on the Education Committee and the Recalibration Committee, I believe Johnson County School District #1 is pretty well respected. And I think it's kudos to Superintendent Oskey and a very professional, caring board that apparently doesn't happen all over the state. So between us all, we did very well, and I would expect that these gaps and things could get addressed in the next session because of that relationship. So thank you all for helping me.
Our pleasure. Anybody got anything else? All right, I know you guys are busy. Thank you for taking the time. Please feel free to jump and run. I know you got ground to cover. Thank you guys again.
Marilyn and Barry both like 6 a.m. conversations, so it's all good.
We're up.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, gang. Next up, we got celebrations and school spotlight. Wake up, computer.
Hey, school spotlight. Gonna bring Dr. Hanson up.
Right on.
The positivity share?
Good positivity, Jim.
Hi.
Hello.
I don't always talk from prepared remarks, but I will tonight. This is a special night. I also know that this is our last board meeting while we still have students in session, and there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot still to talk about tonight, so I'll keep it fairly light and fairly brief. It has been a long year for everyone. If you came for a lengthy data presentation about what we're doing at the alternative school, you're going to have to wait till another time. But I will talk about something that is at the center of what we try to do at New West. And speaking of relationships, at New West, relationships aren't just one part of the work, they are the work. But I also know that building relationships is one of those phrases in education that can start to sound a little abstract. Everybody agrees that relationships matter, but the more useful question is, what do we actually do to build them? So tonight, I want to share a few concrete things that we do at New West that I think matter and that might be useful beyond our building. With students, building relationships starts with making sure students are noticed. Because we're small, students can't really just disappear. If a student is absent, quiet, frustrated, unusually energetic, behind in class, or just not acting like themselves, someone at New West notices. That is one thing I think any school can work toward, regardless of size, creating habits and systems where students are noticed early and followed up with quickly. For us, that often looks pretty simple. We greet students when they come in. We check in with them during the day. We have informal conversations in the hallway, during lunch, before class, after class, sometimes right in the middle of class, if that's what a student needs before learning can happen. We also try to avoid letting small issues quietly become big issues. If a student is stuck, we talk with them about why. If they're missing work, we help them make a plan. If they turn in work that's not good enough, we ask them to revise it. If they don't follow through, we follow up. And then we follow up again. Sometimes we follow up again after that. Sometimes it's not glamorous work, but it's probably the most important work that we do. Our students come to New West because they need something different. Sometimes they need flexibility. Sometimes they just need a smaller environment. Sometimes they need a fresh start. Sometimes they need adults around them who are willing to keep showing up, keep redirecting, keep encouraging, and keep believing in them even when school hasn't always felt like a place where they were successful. That does not mean we lower expectations. If anything, relationships allow us to hold students to higher expectations. We can ask students to revise work, to try again, to be respectful, to solve problems, and to take responsibility because they know those expectations are coming from people who care about them. Another thing we try to do is build relationships by making school feel personal instead of anonymous. That happens in small ways. We know which students need a quiet reminder and which ones need a more direct conversation. We know who needs help getting started, who needs help staying organized, and who needs to be reminded that they are more capable than they think that they are. We also try to give students voice in their own progress. We ask them where they're stuck. We ask about what they need. We help them set short-term goals. We involve them in conversations about what success might look like for them. I think that matters because students are more likely to engage when they feel like school is being done with them, not just to them. That is another practice that can transfer beyond our building. When students are struggling, the response can't only be, here is what you failed to do. It also has to be, let's figure out what's getting in the way and let's make a plan. We also build relationships through consistency. Students need to know that expectations will be the same tomorrow as they were today. They need to know adults will follow through. They need to know that if they make a mistake, we will address it, but we won't give up on them. That is especially important for students who have struggled in school. Some students are very used to being corrected. They're less used to being corrected by adults who also continue to invest in them. So we try to do both. We hold the line and we keep the relationship. We expect students to be respectful. We expect them to do their best work. We expect them to revise, correct, and improve. But we also try to make sure students understand that a hard conversation is not the end of a relationship. It's part of the relationship. That is easier to say and harder to do, but I think it's one of the things that makes New West work. We also focus a lot on our relationships with each other as a staff. In a small school, everyone has to be flexible. Everyone wears multiple hats. Everyone has to step in and help when something unexpected happens, which at New West is basically every day. But even though our setting is small, I think the practice is transferable. Adults need systems and habits that help them talk about students quickly, honestly, and constructively. At New West, we constantly talk about students. We adjust plans together, we cover for each other, we problem solve together when a student is struggling. We share information quickly because with only a small staff, communication matters even more. We also try to laugh together when things get strange, which they often do. We try not to take ourselves too seriously, even though we take our work very seriously. Our staff works hard to support students, but we also work hard to support each other. That matters because students notice the way that adults treat one another. They notice whether the building feels calm, whether people trust each other, whether adults are patient, and whether the school feels like a place where people actually want to be. So, if I were to summarize what New West has learned about relationships, I would probably put it this way. Notice students early, follow up more than once, make school personal, give students voice in their own progress, hold the line without damaging the relationship, and make sure the adults in the building trust and support each other. None of those ideas are complicated, but they do have to be done intentionally. And that leads, obviously, very naturally into the next part of tonight. Because when I think about the relationships that have helped shape New West, one of the first people I think of is Tara Hall. Tara started New West High School with me 7 years ago. She teaches math and science, but she also supports students through hard days. She adjusts constantly. She solves problems. She gets pulled in a million different directions. And somehow through all of that, she is always the picture of patience. Tara is probably the most patient person I've ever worked with. And she is kind, and she is steady, and she has a way of working with students that makes them feel respected even when she's pushing them hard to do better. Students trust her because they know that she cares about them. Staff trust her because she is the kind of person who will quietly step in without needing attention or credit. New West would not mean what it does to so many Buffalo and Johnson County families without her. She helped build the culture of the school from the beginning, and she continues to represent some of the best things about it: patience, kindness, flexibility, and a genuine commitment to students. So I'm proud to highlight New West tonight, but I'm even more proud that one of the people who helped build it is being recognized as the district's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you. Awesome surprise.
So here we got it. Yes. So I'd like the family to come up.
You don't need anything else from me.
Thank you.
So I'd like the family to get up. So on behalf of the school district, right, myself as a superintendent of the Board of Trustees, we'd like to say congratulations on this very, very special honor here, and thank you for everything that you do for this district, so thank you.
I just have to say, you guys, that I could not do this without the rest of the New West staff. I mean, they're amazing people, and I've learned so much from all of them, especially Dr. Hansen, and it's probably the hardest job I've ever had, but it is the most enjoyable by far. I truly, truly believe that, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So, New West staff, team, and Dr. Hansen, great job. I'm assuming we kept it pretty top secret through the process.
I think we did pretty good.
Pretty good. So Travis, as the board chair, we also did another celebration for Classified Employee of the Year.
Yes.
And that celebration was on Friday. But with that, I did ask her to come tonight because I feel she needs to be recognized by us and you as the Board of Trustees. So Brenda, will you please come up?
Yes, welcome.
The reason I asked her tonight, because I think both of these employees need the recognition from you as a Board of Trustees and to be done in public. So again, same thing, very grateful for your dedication. These are not awards that come lightly, and obviously there were a lot of people that were recognized or applications submitted. And so with the two of you being here tonight, thank you. This is what makes Johnson County School District #1 great. So thanks for showing up.
Thank
And doing everything you do. Okay,
Good job.
all right.
Right on.
Travis, anything else?
I think that's good. Thank you both for sharing all your talent.
Okay. You guys,
Okay.
Thanks for coming. Thank you. Yeah. You guys are more than welcome to stay for the rest of the excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the look on
Okay.
Right now we have Medlar.
Jamie is here.
Yeah, Jamie's here to present some
Okay.
other stuff.
She's gonna share that.
And you'll pull that up on the big
Yes,
board,
got
please?
it.
Welcome. You got put in the hot seat, huh?
Hi, yes. Mr. Corbin wanted me to come tonight to share with you how we teamed up with NAMI to show our support and bring more awareness to mental health in our community. All year we've been having a goal of connecting more with the community, and we've done a few things, but then towards the end of the year here, I approached Mr. Corbin with a resource I had become familiar with through personal experience with my family. Sorry, it's kind of dear to my heart. But we agreed it was important to talk about mental health and bring more awareness to the resources we have in Wyoming and our local communities. As a school district, we see many children and young people, as well as their families, that could benefit from the programs that are offered. In reality, we know the mental health issues are often dealt with alone or without support. And we want to be part of changing this. So each May, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I'm kind of skipping ahead, I'm sorry. But,
Yeah, it's all right.
we wanted to do this, and so we formed a team and we created our shirts, and we resonating resilience, because we wanted to show that we can overcome adversity. And we know that it's a big part of our school district too, that we see many kids and their families that could use some help in these areas. So we got together and formed our team, kind of last minute, but I'm really proud of us. We went on May 9th to Sheridan because that was their NAMI walk. And we walked with them. We gathered donations for our team, and we were able to raise $1,565
Awesome.
for NAMI in Sheridan. We were actually the highest team, which was amazing. There were a lot of teams in Sheridan or more, but we were the only one from Buffalo. But it was very exciting for us to be able to do something that would do good in our area and our community.
Sure.
And should we show the pictures now, maybe?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. Steve's kind of strong.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
It was raining but we still showed up for each other, and we had people that could come, and then it was a busy time, so some people couldn't, but they still donated. And that's how we were able to raise so much money. There was an artist there creating a brain, believe it or not, with, how, and it was really cool. We got together and ate afterwards. Audrey Ludwig picked our spot, which was pretty cool. And just a day of being together and thinking about all the ways we could help not only the kids, the families, our staff. We all go through things. And that's, I guess, what we want to make people more aware of. And we all know that it does, but often we're suffering alone. And we want to try to change that and have conversations about mental health. I don't know how many of you have heard of NAMI. 4.5 years ago, I had never heard about NAMI. I didn't know what those letters stood for. I didn't even know how you pronounced it. But, because with being a teacher, we're always looking at the spellings and trying to figure out how do those letters work. So it was very interesting, and that was in Utah 4.5 years ago. And they told me about NAMI, and I started checking into it. And like I said, most of the time when I talked to the people around our area, even at school when I was doing this for the NAMI walk, they didn't know what it was either. So we're not alone. It's a very big program, but I don't think we've heard a lot about it in our area, and that's the thing. The letters stand for National Alliance of Mental Illness. There are more than 650 NAMI state organizations and affiliates across the country. NAMI Wyoming right now is based out of Casper. 4.5 years years ago, when I would call the number in Casper, it wasn't, no one would even answer because they really weren't set up anymore. So it was, that's why I went through Utah, and we're very well set up with it. But since then, we've started back in Wyoming. So Casper is the main, well, they call it NAMI Wyoming, and then the local affiliate for us is Sheridan. And then there's a few other ones, I believe Laramie, Cody, there might be one other one, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look back at that. But the mental health umbrella includes everything from depression to the most serious mental health conditions. So it's a big umbrella with many phases under it, and that's what NAMI tries to help with, all of these. And studies are showing that 1 in 5 people are living with a mental health condition. And we know in our schools, we see it with children and their families at times in the school district. One good thing about NAMI is it provides all of its services and materials free of charge. So that's a big deal when you're going through things like this. Many are struggling and don't have the financial means to get help. So they offer educational classes as well as support groups for the individual in crisis, but they also recognize, which was very important for me in taking these classes, the importance of educating and supporting the family members, so, and the caregivers. The classes and support groups are all facilitated by people who have had experience with someone they know going through the mental health issues. So when you talk to people in these groups, the facilitator has been through some things, and the experience gives them the personal knowledge and empathy that garners trust from the people seeking help. So it's so important. Their main theme of NAMI is "You are not alone." And healing comes from telling your story and knowing you are not alone. Together we advocate for better lives for those who have a mental illness. And they've started having, they have around the country Zoom classes that you can take and support groups. So there's 2 separate things. There's some for the person that's having a crisis and one for the families in classes and support groups. I've taken the family to family, I'm taking it right now, and it helps you understand the different conditions, coping skills, and empowering you instead of, looking at all the downsides of everything. We're trying to, I talked to the state person in charge, and he wants to get classes for people so they can start facilitating some of these classes through NAMI for people maybe even in our area in Buffalo. Right now they have a in-person class in Sheridan, but they don't have Zoom at the moment. But I think it's important because it reaches a lot more people that can't get to places. Even though we live in Buffalo, during certain months it would be hard to get to Sheridan. The roads are bad, deer at night, things like that. So we're hoping through this that I could get leadership classes and other people that might want to get involved and be able to be a facilitator. The classes are already set up. You have the books, they're all free of charge. You would just be, kind of making sure the meeting is taking place the way it should. And then they give you extra information too in it. But I think it's a very important thing that I see in Johnson County, in our schools, in our communities, everywhere. But being Wyoming, we need to rally together and try to, I guess, do better and getting things. And I hope that we could do better next year with our NAMI walk, because we'll get started a lot quicker and get all the schools involved.
Awesome.
But
Thank
thank
you.
you for listening.
Yes.
Thank you.
For coming in.
Exciting
Thank you.
opportunities.
Thank you. Oh, and yes, the gift bags were from Misty Sutton had brought those to our school this month and given them out, and we wanted to give one to you guys.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Jamie,
Thank
thank you
you.
for presenting tonight.
Thank you.
Keep us posted.
Yeah.
I will, yes.
Good.
I'm not stopping.
I think it'd be something really good to get with our parent liaison and communicate with those parents too, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, we've got community service. It sounds like that was a good section of it there.
Yeah, Travis, I'll bring the LOR up during my report, but that's another community program that
Okay.
we're kind of excited about too, so.
I didn't highlight it here, but in the board report, CPES did their annual Bread of Life Food Pantry food drive. So I can tell you some results now, or I can
Sure.
for questions straight. Okay, so total of over 2,000 pounds of food to donate to the Bread of Life Food Pantry. Third grade raised 519 pounds of food. Fourth grade, 908 pounds of food. And fifth grade, 641 pounds. With the winning class being Mrs. Bach at 267 pounds. And so as their prize, they get to load all the food onto vehicles, and then go to the food pantry and unload it, and then they have the opportunity to take a tour, learn about how all that works, and then they get to do a little simulation of what it would be like to shop and feed your family for a couple of nights on what they offer there. So
So you set up a little sweatshop. All right. Otherwise,
So just a quick reflection, everything that we heard tonight, from recognizing our employees of the year, to what we just heard there, to what we just heard here, to the LOR coming in, to our stakeholder meeting with parent liaison, and that information that's connected to the community. Huge kudos out to this team, administrative team, the school district and the board. There are a lot of great things connecting the school district with the community, and that's awesome to hear. And I'll go more into the parent liaison data, because we are actually well ahead of what Thrive feels we should be for as short of a time period that we've been in with the parent liaison. So pretty awesome.
and we had a bunch of schools doing community cleanup and Earth Day, collect trash, all of that stuff. Sounds like we had a lot of good work done out in the community. So thank you all of you that were working on that one too.
I just have one thing.
Please.
Maggie, I think this is like so cool, and this is kind of a funky full circle moment for like my family in particular, but like that I think was when you guys kind of started doing that stuff at Cloud Peak, Brady was in third grade. And that experience followed him all the way through high school. And so part of his, as a senior, they really, your whole entire high school career, they really encourage you as a student to plug into your community. And there was a ton of boys that were in a class. I can't remember. I think Brady was maybe in Mr. Hinton's class, I think at that time, but they all like rallied together as high school students, and they did the Friends Feeding Friends of the high school and
on every Thursday
and
morning.
it was like the best thing because they were not shy, they were like eager to get into the community and do the Meals on Wheels, and like I think it's real. I'm a big advocate for those programs, so I think it's really cool. It's working full circle in our district, so.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome. All right. Anything else? Charles, you got anything else here?
Just right before we go into action items, we're good.
Okay. All right. Next up, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Marcia and Lynette. Discussion on the consent agenda. Hearing none, all in favor of approving consent agenda as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay. Action items. We got some policies.
Yeah, so Travis, before we go into action items, if you don't mind, I have something I'd like to read here today, especially with all the events that transpired in the last 2 weeks and even today. So Please bear with me as I read through this statement as we go into action items and move into the future. With confidence and pride, I want to begin tonight's meeting as we go into action items with sincere gratitude to this Board of Trustees. In addition to meetings and work sessions, the majority of you put in over 50 to 100 extra hours over this last 5 to 6 months to make sure this district is a great place. Also, a gratitude for the leadership team, the JCSD #1 staff, and the Johnson County community. I understand that not everyone is happy right now, and I know that there are individuals who generally feel that the district administration and the Board of Trustees do not care. I recognize these feelings are real, and I respect that. What is often hard to see outside the walls of this district office are the countless hours, difficult conversations, sleepless nights, stress, anxiety, the weight of responsibility that has to come with navigating the last 8 months. The reality of this work will continue over the next 12 months. It doesn't stop here tonight, and it'll continue. Leadership during this time, major change is not easy. There's no perfect decision, and when facing challenges and changes of this magnitude, which the reality is, change is happening. I want to be very clear. The Board of Trustees, the district leadership team, and myself as a member of this team truly do care. And I've seen that passion from you as a board. I've seen that passion from the administrative team and the hard conversations that we have. I'm blessed to be a part of this team and serve this community. Over the past 2 years, JCSD #1 has approached significant challenges with intention, discipline, honesty, and commitment. We have not operated from fear or victim mentality. We have faced reality head on and made difficult decisions and stayed focused on the solutions rather than excuses. I can confidently say that we've landed on our feet. We do not have to implement a reduction in force, a direct result of proactive planning and not a reactive decision making, knowing some districts have already eliminated staff and implemented a RIF policy. Surrounding districts receiving significantly higher, keyword, significantly higher regional cost percentages, 4 to 5% more for their staff than we receive here in Johnson County, which is a big impact of what we can offer our teachers and our salaries. We have identified and stabilized a $900,000, I want to repeat this, a $900,000 deficit. We're bringing in front of you tonight almost $1 million deficit in operations, and we're bringing a solution to you here tonight so that we can make plans for the future. That's remarkable, truly remarkable. We've identified, or we successfully planned, placed all qualified staff according to Senate File 81 into an instructional silo without exceeding the funding limits. I want to be very clear, playing the rules, not cheating. A complex, significant accomplishment given statewide constraints in JCSD 1. Fact to be known to everybody here, a $1.3 million deficit with certified staff and elective staff. So with the $900,000 and the 1.3, it's over a $2 million deficit. I appreciate the confidence that you have from the work session last week that we can take this on. Those are huge accomplishments just within themselves, that we've been able to take the rules and regs that have been provided in front of us and continue to move on. We are temporarily offsetting some of this through summer school extended day programs, instructional facilitators, and ELL funding. We only froze activity fundings for 2026. We did not reduce the overall funding, eliminate programs, or reduce staffing as other districts did in Wyoming. If you haven't read the Wyoming High School Activity Association media statement, that is going around the state. This did not happen by chance. It is a result of intentional work by this board, by district leadership over the last 5 to 6 months. The implementation of new accounting systems, financial systems, and protocols, intentional focus on what we control, master scale staffing assignments, creative funding applications or federal funds, reduction in long-term liabilities as what we had. We have over $1.2 million liability with insurance and with leave liability. Intentional focus on planning. 2 years ago, I've been speaking to the topic. We began preparing for an ADM enrollment funding cliff. It is here today. What I didn't predict is Senate File 81 would amplify that impact beyond initial data-driven projections. Did not see that coming until actually the last 4 weeks of recalibration. Class sizes, despite the major shifts in state funding model, JCSD1 continues to maintain class sizes substantially lower than those under the state funding model. K-3 funding model by the state is 1 to 16. We are currently 1 to 13. With SPED, we're 1 to 9. 4-8 model is state model is 1 to 22, and 1 to 25 for high school. We're currently at a 1 to 12 and a 1 to 10. KC remains at a typical size for a K-12 building at about a 1 to 6. Information is what this is the information that state leadership sees and uses to make decisions. This low teacher to student ratio highlights a growing gap in ADM decreases between what is funded and what we can sustain. Reality, Senate File 81 and declining ADM challenges include instructional silo requirements, operational budget funding deficit, core versus elective staffing changes, reduces funding for what we are doing. Enrollment decline in staffing is a reality. Over the last 7 years, we've lost 283 students. However, staffing has remained essentially unchanged. From 2018 to 2019, we actually employ certified and classified one more employee than we did 7 years ago. This clearly creates an unavoidable reality. New funding model results in shortfall of approximately 10 certified core elective positions relative to our current ADM. Financially, what we're presenting to you tonight is an 81 cents of every dollar spent in this district goes to salaries and benefits. Classified wages have substantially raised. First year, for those of you guys who are on the board, we almost had a walkout because there was an approval, a compression of the salary schedule. Since then, in 2021, after EMS came in, we've given well over a $4 raise to classified staff on the salary schedule. Real challenges, real responsibilities. While we have stabilized our current position, the challenges ahead are real, require continued intentional focus on real-world solutions, which means difficult decisions. Over the next 12 to 18 months, JCSD will continue to intentionally focus on PLC, K-12 Lit, new graduation requirements, federal funding challenges, Wyoming accountability, evaluation systems, and finding efficiencies. Aligning staff more closely to Senate File 81, continuing to refine the grade band structures, evaluate programs and staffing assignments, maintaining a focus on financial stability while minimizing impact requiring of educational standards and aligning to what we are supposed to be doing, and that is serving kids. We will continue down the road of high expectations and accountability, but with an intentional focus on sustainability. We cannot continue to do the things we always have. In a world where families have choices, JCSD must intentionally become the best choice for every student, every family, every day. The journey forward begins tonight. Johnson County, proud and committed.
Well said, yes. Please.
Charles, this is year 4 for me on this board, and I don't think we would be where we are if you weren't leading us through this too. There's a lot that you have done to help us stabilize, to get information out to us, to help us make the right choices, and to get us ahead of the game so we can be where we are today. Because I do feel pretty okay with where we are. Connie, you have done so many things, flipping things this way, that way. Let's try this. Let's go get better interest rates. I mean, man, we are lucky to have you guys in our district. And so I thank you for everything that you're doing too, because it's been a road.
Yes.
But I feel okay. And there were times where I thought, ooh, this isn't good. But I'm right here with you. We're fighting the fight.
Thank you.
Stand active. Echo that to all the teachers, all the principals. You guys are the ones actually holding the vote together as we try desperately to determine the storm. So thank you guys. The admin team has been amazing. We appreciate it. We see it, and we really do. Thank you guys for all that hard work. Very good. Anybody else got anything on this one? Okay, let's do some policies. We got policy file DJA, cost principles, and policy file DJB, cash management. These are all relative to federal grants. Can I get a motion on policy files, DJA and DJB, please?
Make a motion to approve the DJA and DJB on its second reading as presented.
Got a motion and a second. Next motion, Reed, second. Discussion on this one. Guys, we know this is dictated. We know it's gonna change whenever the Fed gives us some guidance, but they haven't done so yet. So I hate, sorry to say this, we'll be back on our plate, whatever day the Fed decides to come back and do this. But for now, this is the best we got, and we need to have them in place. Mr. Super, what else do you need to tell us about this one?
If I was a betting man, it'd be 2028 before we get there, but it'll all be good. So we need this in place by July 1st, so.
It could be a while, but we will adjust and roll with the punches as needed. Other discussion on these two? How we're gonna handle federal grants or cash distributions? Hearing none, all in favor of approving policy file DJA and DJB as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Righto. All right. Is that everything in policy? This other one is just oh no, we've got more. Or is this part of it?
Okay, different ones.
These are all
These are
second
separate.
readings.
Okay, so these are second reading ones.
You can choose to do it as one,
Do it as a slate.
or you can take one individually.
What is the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the slate of the policy revisions as presented on their second reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Lynette and Marcia. Okay, discussion on these ones. Capitalization policy,
My thoughts, we've been, in my time, we've been more, given more information on the procurement policies than ever
Yes.
before. And I think we've made some good moves on that one. As we all know, the technology, well, I guess this is just security, but like I'm sure that's gonna be somewhere within the interim of things that are gonna be talked about. So I feel like this isn't something we just visited.
No, this is, that we've been working on.
this stuff, so.
Agreed. Mr. Super, County Business Manager, do you guys have anything to add to any of those?
These are all tied to those federal programs as well, and so,
We gotta have them, they need to be in place.
and we will just keep tweaking them until they're right, so.
Yeah, till we get guidance and know exactly how they should be.
So Travis, as board chair, I know you're supposed to be responsible for developing policies. We were told that these are the policies we need to have.
Yes, we
It's
had.
a little bit different, okay?
And remind me, did these come out of WSBA's policy advisement, or was this?
This was Edgar, this was having to meet Edgar, and these are the ones that we have to have for ID 611 and consolidated grants, so.
Got it, okay.
And then we'll get with the food service people to make sure procurement is there, and then once we get all those in places, and when we get the response back from the review, remember, we're in the middle of a review.
Yes.
A 3-year review, and so they're looking at it, and we just don't have a lot of it back yet.
Sure. But we could see these guys coming back around too. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of approving the slate of motions here, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. All right. Next up, preliminary budget. Nothing to it this year.
Travis, so I'm just gonna have Connie come forward to go through the preliminary budget. Realizing we don't have to approve it, but it is an action item. I think it's good for the public to hear where we are
We need to know.
with the preliminary budget. Do a Q&A with Connie and the information she has in front of her.
Sure has to have a motion.
Taking the motion first, yes.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to approve the FY 27 supply budget as presented by the committee.
Preliminary budget.
Preliminary, sorry.
Yeah, no, all good. Got a motion and a second, Marcia and Tamitha. All right, Connie, take it away.
Congratulations, Tara.
Yes, well done.
Thank you.
Hope you guys got a laugh at the big, huge budget that.
Yes, we were very.
Good job.
I didn't realize, I was printing on big paper, but anyway.
Well,
So
I
that's
thought you were just being kind.
It's better than Charles's microscope.
I feel like sad.
All the complaining we did at the work session, I thought for sure this was on
Totally
purpose.
intentional.
No, it wasn't, you'll have to laugh. So if you'll go ahead to the next one. I just want to, kind of read the quote that came from our fearless leader. We've landed on our feet. This next year gives us the opportunity to take a breath, evaluate our systems, and identify creative ways to operate more efficiently moving forward. And that's kind of where we are. I just want to, when we look through this budget, when we look through the salary schedules, it's not a finished work. We're not perfect. There's still some things and holes that we have to fix. But I do want to tell you that confidently, I feel like this is the best that we could do this time, and just always looking forward to do better. Again, I just got the email that they've updated the FAQs for the Senate File 81, so we've got some more information. So as soon as we read through that, we'll let you guys know what it is, but of course it's all changing. So we are really comparing apples to oranges when we look at last year's budget and this year's budget. Last year's foundation had insurance and retirement inside the guarantee. This year it has insurance, but it's going to be updated because it's just an estimate. It's just ongoing, and the retirement is completely out of the retirement. But we tried to add that retirement back in so we could do apples to apples, but here we go. So last year we received $19.5 million in guarantee, and this year it looks like we, again, it's preliminary, $20.5 million. And then going forward, so that is a little bit of an increase, but it all is going into that
Right in the
instructional
silo.
So we are proposing that we use about $400,000 in cash reserves. We think, again, we won't know this more till the next time I present in July, that we might have a surplus of budget. And again, remember, budget is just a budget, it's just a number. So what I'm gonna do is we budgeted it against what we thought we would get in revenue. So I will make sure that we got the revenue, and then if we do have some surplus, then that means we do have cash. And that's what we'll put, that's the number we'll put in there, and we'll just see what it looks like, and then that'll be different every year, just depending on what the needs are. And so that would be there. We're estimating about $295,000 in retirement. This will be the last time we get retirement at the end.
Yes.
So we've got, so currently you get retirement in the entitlement payment. They're basing that 12.69% is already on the FTEs and the money they're giving us in retirement. Going forward, the retirement would be in actually what we are actually spending. So if we spend $1 million in salaries, we get that retirement, that full 15.191% at each month. So that's even the changes for SPED and transportation. So that part of the reimbursement, we don't have to wait on. So this coming year, we'll have a double whammy in reimbursement for transportation and SPED. We'll get that this year's reimbursement, and then we'll get all the retirement, right? And then we'll also be able to get a quarterly payment for any of our BOCES payments that we're making.
So do we have to protect some of that to front load? Because now we gotta pay all the retirement first, and then they're going to reimburse us, right?
Correct.
So we have to front load this next time.
Yes, we'll just be a little bit of that first couple of months, we'll have to do that, and then it'll start coming.
Then we should get caught up.
It'll catch up with us, so I don't anticipate a problem there. So we're looking at maybe a revenue of 21.5 million, and of course, That's not all revenue, that's gonna be cash reserves and things that we get. And then, we are anticipating spending about 17.4 million in, salaries and benefits. And again, that is 81% of
Yep.
our budget. And then operations is the 2.3 million is gonna be reduced by that $124,000 deficit. And right now, I'm calculating that to be about a 5.25% decrease across all budgets, all operation budgets. Mike has already come in and he's taken that 7% decrease, and I get to change it, give him a little bit more money. So he's already done his budget meeting, and it was 7% at that point. So now it's 5.25, and hopefully we can make that work. And that'll give us a balanced budget. Again, I just want to remind you that we're not going, we may have to use cash reserves next year, but that'll hopefully be the last year that we ever do that again. We don't ever want to budget with cash reserves, and so I just want you guys to know that we understand that it's bad practice and that we are not going to try to do that. And then remind you that one-time revenue of $295,000 will go away. Again, just to remind you, according to Charles, we landed on our feet and we can take a breath. Again, the next page, you go to the next page. Again, 81 cents of every dollar is spent on salaries and benefits. That's the sweet spot we probably want to stay at. And that's where we want our money to go. And then hopefully we can get an increase next year at that 16% that will be more dollars, even though it might still be 16%, but we still want it to.
That'll take several that we need them to go ahead and fund some of the mandates.
Yeah. Next page. Again, just want to remind you, go quickly, what's working in our favor, entitlement payments going 11 months instead of 10 months. So we still get a check in July, where normally we don't. We have a longer time to certify the 100. That means I can, again, play with the estimates of what I think I'm going to get from the county, and that's been all over the place. You guys watch that chart. It's like, how do you predict that? If you guys see a trend, let me know, because I can't see one. Quarterly sped reimbursements, we're excited about that. But we also are doing something exciting. We are trying to bring some of those students back to our district, and so we'll be reimbursed in the year, next year for it. But anyway, I had to laugh about that. In the monthly retirement reimbursements, spend transportation, we're getting them in the month that we're actually spending them. And then we did get some partial funding for elementary counselors. We didn't get a full one to every elementary, we got one partial. So we were excited about those. So that's kind of what's working in our favor. Also, if Bill gets his act together and we buy 7 buses, we'll be reimbursed for those 7 buses within 90 days instead of over 5 years. So it's a good thing.
Imagine this, you just threw Bill under the bus.
I know, yeah. Well, it's been hard because we don't even know, it's just,
Yeah.
we're now 18 months out from a bus, and then do we know what are we gonna do? Do we have the cash flow? What are we gonna do? And then finally, it kind of works out. So I think we can safely make some decisions, so.
With that being said, the gentleman at the state that helps with that resigned or quit or whatever, so there's really no state leadership with transportation at this point.
Oh, good.
There were 5 members of the Wyoming Department of Ed that resigned in the last 2 weeks.
That'll slow everything down.
That's gonna slow a lot of stuff down.
Yeah. So just to be upfront, we're navigating with uncertainty, we're making decisions, hoping we're making the right decisions, but we're checking, we're working through that. We're gonna monitor our spending this year very closely. If we've got some money to bring over to this year, we're going to do that. And then we spent talking to Marilyn and Barry, you've heard what they said today, that they are already doing some groundwork. You guys have done groundwork, so hopefully we'll get food service money, we'll get securities, SRO money, we'll get more money for technology. And what else were they talking about? Also hopefully changing the grade bands We want to hopefully get that hold harmless for KC. That will help us. And then we're just gonna adjust as we go. So I think that this is gonna be working documents, a living document. I think we're gonna have to shift and move and do things all year long. So hopefully you guys are open to that. And then again, the numbers that we went over, those are all gonna change by the time July is coming. We'll keep you informed on that. Again, we're trying to adjust, closing the gap with natural attrition. If they retire or leave us, we're looking at that, we're monitoring that, we are analyzing that. Everybody is making decisions on that. So sometimes we have to fill the position, sometimes we don't. So every time somebody leaves, we're gonna be looking at that. Again, you guys, in your ability to advocate for us at the legislative level, that would be awesome. We're going to try to target that operations reduction by 5.25. Hopefully, it will not rise between now and July. And then we'll just continuously look at this and try to be as efficient as possible. Be transparent. We're looking at this through so many different lenses, and I promise we missed the lens. But but if it comes back up, we'll look at that lens and we'll adjust as we can. Again, what's driving the budget, it's really the mandates out of Senate File 81. It's those restrictions in the silo. There's even questions that have been going all over WASBO and on the chat, what about this, what about that, what about this? And so every time you open one box, it opens 14 more. And so we're still trying to figure out what those mandates really mean. And it's reduced our flexibility in spending. So, if we get those more, and I want to say it, and I want to hope everybody hears this. So if we get more money for technology, we get more money for food service, we get more money for security, but those teachers, all the stuff that we get for teachers will go into the silo, but everything else is kind of fair game, and we can spend it any way we want to, and we're going to try to spend that as wisely and as consistently and fairly as possible. We are watching those eliminations of one-time revenues. We're trying to be grounded in best practices. This is really just philosophy here. So read through that, and that's where we're trying to be. Any questions so far? And then we've talked about technology funding, food service, school security, and those other pieces of that work together. We'll keep you informed. We'll give you the best talking points that you can possibly have when you go and talk to them.
Go advocate for them.
Yeah. And so those are the things that the legislature has to work on this summer. But what we have to work on is really the small school hold harmless to get KC and those minimum teachers. We need to advocate for that idea of adding another grade band so that we can so it can be 16 to 1. It's 22 to 1, right? And then 25. We want to stick something in there between. In the middle. And then we do want to, and this one, so, Gamma helps me with this a lot. And he just didn't put it in the right spot. The transportation reimbursement we talked about, that we get that fully funded immediately within 90 days. And they have promised to.
Someday down the road.
Well, they've also talked to us, promised us that they'll work with us too. So if we can anticipate, well, we think that the bus is going to be delivered March 15th, then they're going to have a check ready at March 15th. So we don't have to wait the 90 days, but if we identify it before the 90, so they're going to work together with us. And then the next page really is those non-general funds. All of this is going to change, but we looked at through all of it. Special revenue looks like it's going to be about level, maybe a little bit less. A $2 million budget keeps us, if we get some more grants, it kind of keeps us, gives us that. Remember, we have to have a budget larger than what we actually spend, so we want to keep it kind of high. Major maintenance is $3 million. We're going to lose about $300,000 to $400,000 because that 135% is going back down to 115%. And so that was just a one-time yearly thing, but $3 million is a good spot for major maintenance. And then Bochis, we spent about $225. So here's one of the things. They sent us a bill, big bill, $207,000. We send them a check, then they turn around and send it back to us. But we have to hit the expense, so we have to spend it in the budget, even though the revenue, it comes back as revenue. So we have to have it large enough to be able to cover that check that we write. Capital construction. So we're going to add another component project, but when we get all the details, we'll have all those details by July.
Okay.
Depreciation, that's pretty much how we spent it this year, those 1,000s, 2,000s, and 3,000, but I'll have more definite how we've spent that money in July. And then food service, looks like we're gonna keep that pretty level. And that is due to our current food service director's budgeting prowess. She's awesome. And then internal services, that's just, we just want to put some money in the savings account if our insurance happens to blow up next year. And then student activities, that's about what it is. And so the one thing I need to find out about, I can't remember what Alex told me, the auditor, and I think that either rec board's budget will be on here or it won't be. That you're the governing body of the rec board, even though the Department of Audit, they do their own budgeting, whatever. I think I may have to just put it on here first. But I'm going to get more information from Alex. So, okay. So this last page really goes into the salary schedules. And so it's in this packet for you. And this was really small. I did do this on a big sheet of paper on purpose. But I wanted to kind of go over a couple of things, and I want Charles to jump in at any time if you guys have questions. But there were some questions about salary increases and silo, and that maybe a member or two on the board was a little bit confused about. They thought the principals were in the silo, and that's why we gave them an increase, but they are not. They're not part of the silo. The increases were over the breadth of all the salaries in the model. But the problem is they did increase those, but they also took away the 8 of the FTEs. So they may have increased the salaries, but the funding went down. So that's kind of the dilemma, and that's the challenge that we were faced with was, yeah, they increased all the salaries, but they didn't give us enough money to pay them because of the reduction in class, or the increase in class sizes, right? So these first couple of paragraphs on this sheet is really an explanation of maybe what the difference between the silo and the increases are. The district did not have the financial ability to fully solve compensation concerns for every employee group in a single year. So we're focusing on balancing market pressures, internal equity, employee support, and long-term fiscal sustainability. We know that these aren't perfect. These salary schedules aren't perfect.
But we have to live within our means.
Yes.
Yes.
And I want everybody to understand that we are looking at every salary schedule, that we'll revisit all of them, we'll look at them, and if we need to make changes, we'll make changes. We'll come to you guys and say, can we make this change? So, so this was just really a summary of what happened on these salary schedules. So The administrator salary schedules is the first one we're gonna look at, and we just put it all together so we don't have to click. And so it's all together. And then the next one is management, that is the supervisors. They receive, the administrators received a $5,000 increase plus steps. The management team, they received a $3,000 increase to the base plus a step. And then, just want to remind you, you should have 2 teacher salary schedules, and one has the highlighted. Okay, so the yellow highlight on the left under the steps, that's where each of them stopped last year. We added 4 more steps, right? And we also increased the base by $10,000. We went from 49 to 10,000. So one of the ways we meet Senate File 81, we had 2 options. We could do it by what we actually pay them, or we can do it on a salary schedule. We use what we actually pay. If our RCA goes down, then our average goes down. And then right now, we've got the majority of our teachers are in the bottom right quadrant where they have a master's 45, and they've been here over 15 years, right? So they're there. So if they leave, then our average gets all messed up. And so it's based on what we actually pay. So the other option they gave us is if we take our salary schedule and we make our salary schedule meet that average. And so that's the choice that we made, so it can stay more static and
Yeah, people can plan ahead a little.
yes. So I take all those numbers and get the average. The average is 73,098, and our average that we have to meet is 73,056. So we've got a whole little cushion of $42.
Is it $42 to pay?
Yeah, so we were excited, made it work.
That is awesome.
So now, all the steps, so we didn't have anybody that was sitting on that bottom rung that they would not be able to get a step this year. But next year we'll have 20 people sitting on those yellow steps, and so now all of them will be able to get a step.
Somewhere to go.
Yeah. Any questions on that?
So just to clarify, the yellow was where it used to end. And you added more there, and then you took each employee and dropped them down 4 on the chart?
No. They all got a step.
They all,
So,
okay.
yes. So,
I got you.
Increase the opportunity, yeah.
Yep. I
Just to start more steps available now.
Yep.
so the only employee that got a step is $10,000 raise. Everybody got more than that.
First year.
This is step 1, lane 1.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't have anybody sitting right there.
Oh, that does make sense now.
Any questions?
Travis, I just want to be very clear. This was mandated. I think everybody heard that. There's a certain expectation of where our average teacher salary needs to be. It's different. Some districts were 77,000, some were 75. Ours landed where we landed. But I also want to be very clear is we shoved everybody into the silo. So I'm just being very clear, shoved everybody into the silo. As of 4 days ago, we had $39,000 out of over $7.5 million. So we did a pretty good job. That's a pretty amazing percentage. However, unless there's an ECA, not having 39, we have to align more to the model. Because no longer in statutes are years of experience, all right, or any type of educational incentives. So in
It's
order
not funded, but it's still required.
still required, not funded. So in order for us to get there, we have to be able to continue this journey to understand, unless the state gives us more money, that's kind of where we land for right now until we kind of get to where we need to be.
Sure.
Fair?
Yes.
All right.
Very good.
Great. The next one is the SPED professional salary schedule. If you go to the agenda,
So are we still on the preliminary budget or are we going through schedules?
Can I ask a
Yeah,
quick
we should-
question?
Yeah, we
I was just curious, like, just out of curiosity's sake, like, what is the percentage of each step? What is that?
It's not a percentage, the step is $700.
Okay, gotcha.
I
So Travis,
tried
I
for
think we
3
have
or 4
action
years
item
to
on
try
our
to.
budget right now. I missed the approval of that.
She has to present, we don't have to vote on it, because it's
No,
preliminary.
we didn't make it an action. item.
We made
So,
an act.
okay.
We made an action.
Got it.
We need to approve that. then.
Sorry, I've done.
Better
I've
start
done-
that.
yeah.
We did, huh? Okay, preliminary budget. Everybody ignore the salary schedules for a minute, go back to your big 11x17s. We need a motion. Motion.
You already did have a
We got the motion, so we
just need
Got a
to
motion and a second,
Approve.
here's the vote.
Any discussion then?
Yeah.
Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the preliminary budget, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay, that one's got, now jump back to your salary schedules,
Well, now we can vote in.
please.
Sorry, guys.
Make a motion to approve the salary schedule.
We got a motion to approve in a second, Annette and Marcia. Okay, now go back to discussion. Connie's on, we're sped professionals. Right?
Okay, on SPED Professionals, I changed the name. It's no longer a 200-day salary schedule because I put other, we are in the middle of hiring a psychologist that will be working 185 days. And then I moved the on your salary schedule.
Intern.
No, it's the SPED LPN LPN. Is that one on yours? It is not on mine. Okay, so if you'll look up here, see the 185 day, and it's the SPED LPN LPN. I added that to the salary schedule.
Okay,
And then we added that school psych that's 185 days. And they got an increase of $3,000 to that base or prorated to that. Any questions on that one? Due to the classified salary schedules. The classified salary schedules did not receive an increase to the base, but they received a step. And then we increased their holiday pay. So that's not really reflected on the salary schedule because it's really just a number of days they work and what they would get paid for. So that it's not on the salary schedules, but that's one of the changes that we made. That has a little bit of controversy. We gave the 9-month employees 14 holidays, and we gave the 10 and 11-month employees 9 days, and then the 12-month we gave 10 days. So that was not consistent across the board, but it did take everybody to
maxed out.
9 to 11 months, 20 days, and then the 21 days of holidays for the 260 people. So it wasn't quite even,
Couldn't be.
and so there is still a little bit of things that maybe we need to revisit and look at, that we're willing to look at that at some point, but that's not what we're offering tonight.
No, the full calendar is 20 total. Okay,
The first one is the accompanist, interpreter, and early childhood literacy liaison. There's no changes to this one. The interpreter is a sign language interpreter. Currently, we're paying, contracting that out. And then if we actually have someone that's not a teacher that can do that, then this is the salary schedule. But currently, we have no one on the salary schedule. Any questions on this one? The next one is custodial classified staff, and those have no changes. Everyone got the step. The next one is food service. That did not have an increase to the base, and then everyone got a step on that, and there was no changes to this one. The next one is maintenance and grounds, the same goes. No increase to the base, but everyone received a step.
Everybody got a step.
In the next one, there are some changes.
Connie, I have a question. Sure. Okay, so say we like hire a new person this summer for maintenance, do they just start at step one, or do you give them to
No,
step two?
we go through the resume and we do some calculations and we make some determinations. We've got some kind of guidelines and criteria set up, and we follow those, and then that's where they're placed.
Okay,
So they ended up with 5 years of experience. So a lot of times for classified, we if they're not experienced out of a school district, we give, and they work 10 years for someone else, then we would give them 5 years for that, half of that. And then a full year for every year that they've been in a school district, a accredited school district.
Okay.
And then so let's say they ended up with that criteria, 10 years of experience, we would put them on step 11.
Okay.
That's kind of the process that we go through now. Okay. So on this one, we kind of came into it a little bit of a challenge. I need to call library aides, regular aides, sped aides, instructional aides for the general fund to be able to be used in the silo. And so that would have been our plan from kind of day one. And then when I went to go change the names of this, the library aide and the regular para aide, they made different things. They started at different levels. And so they were going to have the exact same name. So I moved all of them to what a library aide began with. And then in the health aide, I think was the same on that. And then those aides can move over a couple of lanes if they are sub-certified. And I say couple of lanes because you can't see the big schedule with all the lanes, but they go from C and then they go to E if they're sub-certified, and then they would go to G if they are teacher certified. And then we sat down with Craig and others, and we were kind of talking about, and a Title I para was paid the same as it was paid differently than a SPED aide. And so if we had a CEIS aide, which is a SPED aide, and we had a Title I aide, they make different things and they are doing the exact same job. So we ended up with the regular aide, general ed aide, and a regular SPED aide. We have them making $16.81, so they're all on C now. And then they would move to E if they're sub-certified, and they would move to G if they're teacher certified. So we have about 3.5 people in general fund that is affected in the silos. So this really was very minimal to the bottom line when we made this change. And then SPED, high needs instructional aid, those are separate still because they're definitely a different job than the rest of them. And then we have the health aid. And the health aid, just for you to know that they're not on this salary schedule because they're also the secretary at KC. So they're the secretary, even though they're doing the health aid as well. We just moved them to the higher level. And so there's really nobody on this health aid on this. So they're on a different salary schedule. And then the same is that if they're hired after July 1, 2024, they have to get their certification by the following year, and that will pay for that certification and those education costs if we have to. So this is now, so the SPED classified salary schedule went away, and then we just combined these two, and they are at the same, the regular ed para, the SPED para, the Title I para, the library para, they're all in the instructional aid.
So, okay.
And this way, hopefully we can, they still have, this is the way we're moving. So they said, yes, you could pay for aides out of the silo, so that's one.
That's one of their instructional.
Any questions on that one? That one was just a little bit hairier than the rest. Then the school office classified salary schedule, that is, again, they do not, the way they're funding now, the classified employees at the school, the admin office here, the school secretary and the admin assistants, they were all funded differently last year. Now they're all funded the same. And we lost a little bit of money there. These are still the same. We're still calling them the same thing as we did last year. And the salary schedules are the same, and they all receive a step plus the holiday pay. Administrative office, this did not change. It's the same story as the others. They did not get an increase to the base, but they did get a step, and they got additional holiday pay. And so this does not have a fiscal impact on the budget because they're already working those days. They're getting paid for those days. Now they just don't have to come to work on those extra days that were open. Technology, the one change that we did make on that is we moved the Power School administrator. She moved from my department to the technology department, so we just made that match to what's actually happening. And then there was no change there on the base, and they got a step and the holiday pay. Transportation is the same, and no increase to the base. It's all received a step and additional holiday pay. There's some 260-day employees here on this salary schedule, plus the 185, 197, whatever we're going to call them now, on this as well. So it's kind of all over the board on their holiday pay on that. And so those are all the different changes that we made on the salary schedule.
The substitutes,
Substitutes.
they changed to be in the silo?
Substitutes are not in the silo, no, they are not. They should be, but anyway, but they're not. So there was no change to that. There was an increase to funding, but we're using that for other things, and so 136 for a full day and 68 for a half day. The nurse stayed the same, and then the classified substitute salary changed a little bit. So since they're all sub-certified when they come and substitute, so we gave them the first line of each of the sub-certified pieces of the instructional aid, which is 1766. Regular sped is instructional aid is 1766. High needs instructional aid is 1810. School secretary is 1723. School admin assistants 1810. Custodians 1810, bus drivers $20.48, and food service $16.40. We left the in-house substituting for teacher subbing for a teacher at 25 and an aide covering a teacher is 25. We increased the professional development that is based on that hourly wage for step one, lane one, the teacher, and so we just rounded it up to 40. And the hourly rate for a stipend, while they're teaching that PD or they're leading the PD, or if they have students, they will be paid at $50 an hour. And seasonal help is still 15, and then a seasonal supervisor, ground technician. We've got supervisors that kind of supervise those kiddos, and then we have somebody that specializes in, it'll come out in irrigation. Not irrigation, the watering.
Just watering.
Anyway, they have some specialized skills there, and they have a 1950 for that. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. I skipped that one. Any questions on that?
Okay.
So there's
The easy version.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Travis, one of the questions you asked is subs and their teachers. That was a conversation. You heard that during recalibration. What are these qualifying? But in Connie's world and the business office world, we're gonna be tracked, and where we place and how we code teachers in those positions this is just the beginning. So really trying to find that chess game of where we put people, how we place them, but more importantly, how coding happens with Connie's team, is probably gonna be the most critical thing. So please understand, there's gonna be reports and audits that come out of Senate File 81 on where we go. So all of that coding that has to take place on how we place employees might require a name change. But the next thing we're gonna revisit is at the end of the year when they actually pull the reports where we land. So the journey's just beginning. Fair?
Yeah,
It's not fair, but that's the world we live in.
I'm just struggling to wrap my head around how stuff could not be instructional, but I guess we'll figure that out when we get
Well,
there.
in my world, we have subs that are out in the operational silo, and we don't have a whole pile of money right now in the silo to place them in there. Otherwise, we'd have to take out the operations budget to supplement
To
the
move
sub
that
budget.
over.
Right.
So right now, we're $250,000 of what we're budgeted for subs. So if we start moving subs into there, now we're over the silo easily by 200 and some thousand. Now we're taking out of operations, which already has a deficit of 900,000. So that's the chess game we're playing.
Okay.
Not to say it's not an option down the road, but that's the complexity of this. You can put things in the silo, but when you go over the silo, they don't give you more money.
That's right.
The money now has to come out of the operation portions, which already is a deficit. So that's the game and the placement, the strategic planning that we have with that.
Okay, no, I get it.
Can I ask you a couple questions just to clarify? Okay, so the benefits package, like retirement and insurance, they are not part of the silo, right?
No, but they can be.
No. So here is, when they're giving us, when we look at our budget tool, and they give us, and they make, the money that they're giving us for the silo is in Peach, right? And they are calculating insurance as just a total number, and they're kind of setting it aside. And then retirement is dollar for dollar. So they're really not including it in the silo because it's dollar for dollar, so it's a wash. So yes, in theory, it is part of the silo in a sense, but they're gonna calculate. So let's say they give us $2 million for insurance, and all those rules apply, and they're gonna look at our coding and what we put in there, and they're gonna see, did you spend $2 million in object code 231 and 233? And if we spent 1.8 million, they're gonna take $200,000 off the top of our guarantee the following year. So we're going to make sure that we spend every penny of that as close as we possibly can. So it really isn't in our calculation. We're just using salaries, taxes, and workman's comp. And a lot of teachers don't get workman's comp, but some do. So all of that is included in the silo. So they really are keeping insurance kind of as a separate, but it is part of their benefit package, so.
Well, I was just curious, when you did that, 81% is going towards salary.
And benefits.
So it is benefits too. So what percentage would you say that the benefit packages, the retirement and insurance, what percentage of?
I couldn't tell you what the percentage is, so 15.191 is the retirement. Insurance, it's different for every employee because some employees are taking
Full family coverage,
family
somebody has
coverage,
individual.
and then some are not taking our insurance at all, so you can't really throw that in because that kind of distorts that percentage. So I can give you a percentage for retirement, and I can kind of give you, if they're taking family, they're getting an additional $25,000. If they're taking employee only, they're getting $11,000 for that benefit package. So it really is different, so it's not a complete same across the board. One thing that
they think they're gonna do. So currently, if you take the state insurance, and let's say I just want life insurance, we pay life insurance for every employee, and we have 45 employees that we only pay life insurance for. They don't take our health insurance. So if we were on the state plan, we would have to pay $956 a month for those people who are taking life insurance, even though they're not getting the health insurance. So currently, the guidance is.
So I want to emphasize a word right now she just said. Currently.
Yes.
Please know the road that we're just about ready to go down could change very quickly, right?
So if we have 45 people so they're going to ask us to do a report in the next couple of months once June is over, and they're gonna say for July, tell us all your people that were taking insurance. So we put family, single, right? And then if they just took life insurance, we're gonna put single on it. We do that for the same for all 12 months. Then we're gonna submit it to them. And then they're going to recalculate our insurance that they're gonna pay us in the entitlement piece. So right now it's 2.6 million. So it could go up or it could go down depending on what our spreadsheet looks like. Then we think that we're going to submit that report monthly now, going forward. And if there's some adjustments to be made, they'll make the adjustments. And then if we got too much money, they'll subtract something off our next entitlement payment, or they'll add to our entitlement payment. So it's going to be a kind of, and then it could change next week. And it could have changed when I just got my email. So if you take 45 people times 956 times 12, it's quite a lot of money that we haven't spent yet, right? Because it only cost us $30 times 45 times 12 for our life insurance. So we'll have to give all that money back if we don't spend it. So in January, we may give HSA out to spend money, right? And so this month is open enrollment. And so right now you can change your plan. And so we let everybody know on our guidance that there could be a significant HSA payment if you choose the high deductible health funds that we have. So we try to let them know that that's a possibility, so they won't feel like we didn't share that with them. And so that went out this month, and so we've had a couple people change to the $5,000 high deductible. But we had some really good guidance. I don't know if you were able to look at my report, and my report is the guidance.
Still part of the salary schedules?
Yes.
Kind of, sort of. Okay, I'm with that.
You ready to approve them?
I feel like I need to get that one finished before I dive into the next.
I would agree.
Okay. Board
That was
discussion.
a question I was answering.
No, I got you.
I was trying to.
Before I lost track of where we were
why I
at.
was going through that.
Okay, board, any discussion on salary schedules or other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the salary schedules as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay, that one's good. Now, do you need to tell us more about it?
If you have any more questions about things that she was asking.
Are you satisfied?
Satisfied.
All right.
So, Travis, this is May, right? We're in May. We got June and July work session. These are all gonna be great topics to have a conversation with where we land as we understand where the rules are coming.
Sure, this way you guidance everything.
So just in clear definition, what Connie was just talking about, there might be a lump sum of money that we need to spend toward HSA. I wanna be very clear.
Mike.
I can't take that money and put it somewhere else.
Yes.
This legislation did a great job of eliminating ghost employees and where that money goes. So when we talk about insurance, that's strictly insurance. When we talk retirement, that's strictly retirement. When we talk teacher silo, that is silo. There is no more flexibility similar to a block grant that we have. So we have 2 more work sessions, and I'm sure what we said today, we tweaked a little bit tomorrow after we both go back and read the document that was sent out tonight. But I appreciate your trust in us moving forward because we have to get a budget put together, so thank you.
Right. Okay, next up, classified staff renewal.
Motion to approve the renewal of classified staff as presented for the 26-27 school year.
Got a motion and a second, Lynette and Casey. Discussion on this one, gang. Anybody got questions? Anybody? Charles, you need to tell us anything in addition?
Nope.
Right, Joe. Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving the classified staff renewal for the 26-27 school year, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay, that one's up. To the reports.
From the Board of Trustees, any questions with our administrators that are on site tonight?
Yeah, let's start
With some of the reports. I know Liz is sick tonight, but we do, John is out and Mike left, so we have a couple left though.
Yes. Questions for the principals? Anyone? I thought the reports were fun. The walkthrough indoors were pretty cool.
Yeah. It's always cool at the end of, if you go into any school, at the end of the school year is always the best because they're the most alive.
That's what you can see.
You will have witnessed a year's education. There'll be some things that are hanging up and you'll be like, what was that about? And then that's great conversation piece. But yeah, it's really good to walk the halls of a school at the end of the school year.
See what the product was.
So Jake, with that, let's take this opportunity for you to speak about times, locations where we need to show up on Sunday.
Okay, so for graduation at BHS, the baccalaureate is going to be at 3 o'clock. So please show up a little early. That'd be great. 4 o'clock is when graduation starts. We will start right at 4 o'clock. So it normally fills up in advance. So typically a half an hour early would be really good. Okay. We have special seating for board. So your seat will be reserved for you. We also have before we talk about Sunday, let's roll back a little bit to what's happening on Wednesday. So Wednesday, if you are available at 12:25, we're going to start our scholarship awards. And so that'll be the senior parents and community members and the seniors receiving some scholarship awards at 12:25. We're going to take a short intermission at about 1:15, 1:20. And we're going to come back at 1:30 and do our Scholastic Awards for seniors. And every senior this year, this Senior Awards Committee has been working diligently on this, but every single senior this year will be recognized for successes, and our staff will get the opportunity to speak on their behalf and send them off. So that's kind of a new twist.
Yeah.
So if you're available for that, I would love for you to be there.
What about the other Scholastic Awards for the
Underclassmen.
Yeah.
That's going to be at lunch on the 14th, and it'll be an ice cream social. So if you're open to on that day for around lunchtime, we start lunch at 12:06. So show up at around noon. We'll be celebrating with some ice cream. We'll have group photos of each of the groups of kids that were underclassmen, Scholastic Honors. And then, of course, tomorrow's the grand tour for our seniors. They will get to go through all the elementary schools and middle school. And the cool thing is a lot of them are excited about it. They really want to go back and see their third grade teacher or whatnot and give them a hug or a handshake or whatnot. So that's going to be really cool to have that go through.
That is.
Best part, this class is still part of the letters to themselves, right, at the junior high?
Yep.
That's like the best day ever.
I had a whole bag of them on my desk
Oh,
that they wrote to themselves in 5th grade.
5th grade.
So when
I remember that now too, yep. That was so great.
So then you hand them to them when they come through?
Yes, and so I'm the keeper of them at this juncture because so many of the 5th grade teachers that they once would have had are no longer there.
Right.
So the letters remain.
Oh, good. That's a fun tradition. Anything else for the principals game?
I already had my questions answered.
You did good, all right.
So Jake, with that, anybody that has special, that up on stage, right, let you know, to hand the diplomas out?
Yes, if there's somebody special that you would like to hand out, that should have been, I think Heidi has been talking frequently to me about that, so we have you accounted for and you're in the roster for it.
I still gotta send you mine.
Too late.
In the window. Very good. Principals, I know you guys have other things happening at this time of year, so anybody that needs to be off to another mission, please feel free.
I am going to go see about
Busy enough during graduation,
decorating
you're
at my
busy.
school.
Okay.
Oh yeah, good luck with that, senior prank
Check my
night.
decorating, yes.
How does Casey know that night?
I got high school employees, they've been asking me what they should do.
Hey,
I was like appropriate things.
district ops.
Ops team. Questions for ops that happen to be present?
The only thing I had was I wanted to thank you for putting all that list of what all of the systems are and what they do. That was really helpful.
Yes,
I do have one question, Mr. Chair.
please.
So we as a board received some of the interim invites for the study. Did the district ops people, did technology, transportation, food service, did you guys receive those as well?
I don't know what you're talking about now.
Nope. It's they're doing like interim panels. And we did those panels all last summer.
Yeah.
And just for information and just like things that, I think we received it from the WSBA, but it's just information of the stuff of maybe some of the topics that they're studying. And unfortunately, they put them like 1, 2, 3 in 1 week, because I would love to take them all, but I cannot take that much time off from my paid job. So I currently am just signed up for one. I don't know if you guys signed up for one, but I currently signed up for just one.
Maybe we go.
If there's a way that maybe we could, I mean, I don't know if they can, I guess if they didn't invite them through the district, I don't know how that works. How it would really work.
They're just right now
to
seeking
those
input from
panels.
board members and district
Just-
leadership, which there'll probably be potential more surveys that go out after the initial.
Who's their district leadership?
So.
Interesting, okay.
But that first round, they just sent the people who were there last year. So the first criteria was you had to have attended one of these last year to get that
Okay.
first
Makes
invite.
sense.
But they might
Okay.
go out again.
Well, I'll keep you updated on the one I sit on.
Yeah.
It was from the APA. so-
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anything for the ops team? Hearing none, let's move on. Admin, district admin reports. Mr. Super, you want to lead? You got anything or just go into questions?
Absolutely. So, I don't know if any of the district, administration has, but there's several things that I would like to review real quick.
Please.
First of all, just kind of going through, I looked at our ADM, it has actually went up. We're actually over 1070 today. So
Good.
we're starting to see some ADM go up. That community, Compass for Family, Pool Scholarship, you noticed that in my
Yes.
report. So we're doing some things with that. Communication report, you'll see what came from Kalen Communication. They would like to do some, really connect us with the WSBA's Ignite Wyoming and do some things there. So that'll be something we set a meeting up to do with. Reorganization of a 9 to a 7 member board. I know that's at the end of this agenda, but I can with confidence say that is completed. As of today, paperwork signed. Dinah Clapp had her daughter drive papers from Cheyenne to Lander over the weekend to officially be signed off so that we could submit those today and to meet the deadline at noon today. So that journey has been accomplished. The LOR, there's a link in there. Excited about this. Jen Burton is the new community officer. This organization comes into the communities for close to 5 to 6 years and starts working with programs and growing things and supporting the community. that was a really great meeting. Parent liaison, we had our stakeholder information meeting. I really encourage you to look at the number of families we are touching.
Yeah.
And the amount of stuff we are doing with parent liaisons. That's fascinating. So super excited about that. But with that, one of the Thrive main, organizational officers also came to that stakeholder meeting and wrote a very nice letter back. They were very impressed with a program that's just beginning, the amount of enthusiasm and commitment, not only by our person, but by the district and community. So that's a huge kudos to that program being here with that. So with that, again, there's a lot of information kind of happening with where we are. Dr. Miller is leading the K-12 lit and graduation requirements. That summary is not only in my report, but in his report.
Yeah.
And then I also sent out that election information, which I think is critical for everybody to understand that is probably one of the key things going into next legislation is being really proactive as community members and stakeholders with the upcoming elections. So
It's that time of year.
it is that time of year. I don't know about you guys, but it's May. That means school's gonna start tomorrow, as fast as time flies. So a lot of things happening between now and August 1st.
True, lots of exciting things. Questions for the super, anybody? Okay,
Mr. Chair,
please.
I did have one comment for Dr. Miller. This Wyoming graduation standards and requirements document that you did. That's phenomenal. I just I read over it quickly, but then I was like, wait, this is too much. I need to read the whole thing. So I read the whole thing, and what a valuable full circle document. I think from what I vaguely understand of performance plans within the school, what a tool, what a useful tool that they can look at when they're when each school's setting their goals for their performance, and what it could look like moving forward. And this is I was like, whoa, this is phenomenal. And I love that you have the plans like the U Science and all the competency based items and the standards, because it is changing. And then we take it back to our credit, the credit change that we made. And so it's phenomenal. Kudos.
Thank you. And it all works together with the strategic plan that sort of set us up.
It just
with
made
our
my
common
heart
standards and
made
with
my
our
heart happy.
student success plan
good
that all
job.
rolls together.
This
Thank
is
you.
full circle communication. Excellent work.
It's all together. Thank you.
A quick note, you guys do have June 12th marked down on your calendars, correct?
Correct.
About 7 times.
Okay. That's a coming training.
Good, because I was lost. June 12th,
Thanks
what
for
are we doing? Graduation?
It is, it's in my calendar at least 3 times. I don't know which one means the most, but they're all start about the same time, so.
Great. Okay, so with the transition stuff, so is that meaning we're actually done with Gillette's transitioning stuff? Or
Yeah.
we set, we are there?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say done completely, because we may need to access services there that she provides. But yeah, that's the plan, is that we've created an opportunity in district to provide that with our students in-house, or in district, because that'll include kids from KC
Right.
and so.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. That's been a really huge thing. I
Yes.
think we can all appreciate the work that
Yes.
went into that. That was big, and that's really pretty awesome for our community and our kids here.
Yeah.
That's a great step.
Awesome. Yeah, we as I said, we've started the process of bringing one of our students that's in out of district placement back. Connie alluded to, well, it's a celebration on one hand. It could have a financial impact because of the new quarterly reimbursement. When they're in-house, you have to wait a year to get the reimbursement. So, you know. Yeah.
Still, that's an
Still-
awesome
it's
thing
still
for
a
that
huge,
student, like, that's
yeah.
huge.
And
It's what's best for kids, so we're good with it.
Yeah, so again, thank you, that's
Yes.
been a huge thing.
That's been a big one. Good job. Anybody else? District admin?
I just want to bring up the FY27 health plan guide that Brahman worked really hard on. I'd love for you guys to walk through that. That's what we sent out to our employees. So that was a great tool that we added to our toolbox. So it's good.
Awesome.
And I did update my report a little bit today. I added some more to the survey that I put out. I put how each of the 3 different types of groups voted, so that you can kind of see that breakdown.
Very good. All right, anything else? You think anybody needs to tell us otherwise? All right, next up, board level reports. OCs.
Cheese, boat cheese, we had a virtual meeting.
We did. We
That
went to
went
Charles'
very well.
office. This quick and efficient. Went good?
It was less than 15 minutes, so
Yeah.
I don't think there was, all they were talking about is the money that came in, the money went out, so.
Was real basic reports, very short. And we didn't drive to Manchester to do it, which was nice. Rec board.
So next week, I think, is when we'll do our 3 nights of all the grants will come in. And this year there was a little over $700,000 requested. And last year, and we've been trying to keep in that budget of saving a little bit for the next year to come. So it's about 450-ish is what we try to give. So we'll have some cutting to do, but there's a lot of requests.
Good.
Yeah.
Be exciting.
We're gonna meet and clean up the process for the district, that's even more exciting.
Good. Anybody else got any questions on any of those?
So Travis, I did forget to remind you, but Sheridan College had invited us to the groundbreaking ceremony at the college on 14th.
14th, I think, but yeah.
5 o'clock.
Yes, they were really hoping we could get some board to show up and superintendents, they wanted to kind of make a photo op and say, you know, we're supporting more than just Sheridan here, these Johnson County kids.
So I plan on attending. Anybody that would like to attend, please let Heidi know and we'll make arrangements. Or meet you over there.
It's this Thursday, is that what you said?
Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes. Sorry, the 13th.
Oh. Yeah, it's at 5:30 type.
At the physical site?
At the physical site. I'll get clear directions. I'm sure there'll be signs, but the groundbreaking, he said it'll take 15 to 20 minutes, so.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be long, but he was really hoping to have lots of different education groups represented. So I'll go to that one. Charles, just so you know.
Okay.
All right, next up, other business, board reorganization update. We sort of hit this, victory was achieved. Did the rest of you guys know we were asking Charles to do something never done before when we assigned him that mission? I didn't have a clue until they said, you guys just made history, you're the first board to ever do this with Niobrara. I didn't know we had assigned you a possible task, but nice job pushing all the way through.
Yeah, we're grateful to get through that. We did establish new protocols for the entire state in the future, so.
All right. Everybody got the future recalibration dates? A bunch of emails came out, June 24 and 25, August 25 and 26. We'll go back down there and see if we can twist any arms or change any hearts and minds. That silo thing hurt. Maybe they'll hear us this year.
So with that, kind of back to what Lynette had talked about, there's gonna be lots of, emails flying around coming from the School Boards Association. So I want a clarification. There's committees, then there's recalibration meetings, and then there's the State Board of Education meeting. So this is a busy summer. There's already a lot of confusion out there on what the purpose and what the intent is. The committees that will be established are gonna be just basically asking the questions. We already know food service, where you want with that, so they're gonna collect data. As you remember, the frustration part of that is, what was the purpose of the data collection? Because we didn't really see it at recalibration. So I'm also hoping the CIFDAC ramps up by 3 or 4 notches and actually becomes an active member, where I think the business managers that are on that have a lot more to say specific to influencing legislators, because understanding the effects, the implementation impact is going to be huge. That's what recalibration was told they want to hear right now. They want to hear what has failed, what is successful. So after this first recalibration meeting in June, you're going to hear all sorts of stories across the table, and then we're going to hear a plateau of what the key focus points will be. So there's a difference between recalibration and these interim committees that are collecting things. They should all come together late fall and start putting legislation, start hopefully guiding legislation. So those are kind of some key facts that are coming up. But there is interim committees, and there's these committees we're giving input on. Then there's the recalibration committee meetings, and then there's the joint education committee meetings, and then there's the CIFDAC meetings. So there's a lot of things happening throughout that process.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy summer with some miles traveled. Anybody else, questions on that one? Recalibrations? From the board. We're going to do an update a little bit on the board onboarding procedures, but Katie's out. We're gonna just push that one back.
Mr. Chair.
Please.
I just had a opportunity I wanted to share with you that I attended the LRP with an excellent team, with an excellent administrator director. It was a great learning opportunity. I think several of us came away with lots of tools in our belt. The plan that I'm aware of is that we're going to present a quick little ditty at our work session in June. Craig has created an inbox that we can all drop some stuff in where we, pieces that we took away. I can tell you that that was 3 days of full on law talk. It was exhausting, but it was super informative. Super proud of everything that I understand within special education. Johnson County is doing well. We did not make any case law that I saw.
That's good. No case law.
So
Good.
I was pretty proud of that. But we'll give you a good, a good quick update on what we did in June.
Excellent.
So Lynette, one of the questions that always come across, and since we're in public and is this was good for you as a board member to attend, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it's beneficial for you to understand the bigger picture and then come back to the rest of the board. So thank you. That's all I got to say. It's 3 days of lots of high-level law thinking, and you taking your time away from your family and your business to go there and represent the board as a whole, but more importantly, bring back knowledge for everybody to understand. So you need to hear from me. Thank you.
Thank you. I will tell you that we met a group, I believe they were from Cheyenne, one evening, and they were asking who everyone was. And, who are you? Oh, I'm a principal here and I'm a director here. And we're like, well, who are you? And I said, well, I'm just a board member. And they were like, what?
Your board guy?
Your board? And I was like, well, and so my explanation was that, there's lots of decisions that we have to make as a board, and it's useful to understand these things. SPED is very complicated.
Yes.
And the law makes it even more complicated. So they were surprised. You can't look at everybody's little flag or tag that you have on. I don't know how many board members came, but Johnson County came strong, and that Cheyenne group they were like, we're taking that back
Something they learned.
to something that they learned
Good.
and maybe an opportunity for them, so.
Good.
And that was just a random meet, so.
Cool. That's fine. Okay, anybody else got anything from the board? Hearing none. Next special meeting work session is June 3rd, 5:15 here. June 8th board meeting, also here this month. Public comment? No public comment tonight. All right, guys. I entertain a motion to enter executive session under Wyoming statute 16-405, section A, II, and III, personnel and legal matters.
So moved.
Motion and a second, Marcia and Lynette. All right. Quick break and then come back and we'll punch through the last bit.
Thank you, I would have.
You'd have been parched.
I'm
gonna bring your glass
Where's the damn water bottle?
That's great. Well, I suppose I could drive by after the meeting and knock on the door. Probably boot your beer up. So,
Hey, Jill, I'm gonna put a sign up over the corner.
just
Over there? Cody the other day, she's like, aren't you done with this? I'm like,